Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today, Scale Beyond Manual with SAP, AI Automation and Intelligent Field Operations. Here's our agenda for today. So first, I will be giving an introduction to B1 Solutions, our partners Staple AI and Fentu.io, as well as SAP. Okay, so I will introduce our partners and our speakers for today. Okay, followed by SAP's roadmap to the intelligent enterprise, which will be a presentation given by Alfie. After that, B1 Solutions will be giving a presentation about building a future-ready enterprise with intelligent SAP ERP. Okay, after this, we will invite our partner, Staple AI, to give a sharing about best practices for AI-driven document automation, followed by our partner, Fentu.io, who will give a sharing about digitalizing field operations with intelligent scheduling and ERP integration. Okay. So for today, I'm very happy to introduce ourselves, B1 Solutions, and also our partners. Okay, B1 Solutions is a leading global business technology partner for digital transformation, specializing in SAP Business One for all industries. We have successful rollouts in more than 1,000 sites across 65 countries, along with providing strong global presence across 35 countries, supporting both regional and international business requirements. Next, I'm very happy to introduce our partner, Staple AI. Staple AI empowers enterprises to streamline and automate business processes. They offer end-to-end document processing and compliance built with trust, bridging the gap between documents and digital workflows. They support businesses across 60 countries and 300 languages with scalable compliance for local regulations worldwide. Next, I'm also very happy to introduce our partner, Fentu.io. Fentu.io offers intelligent field service management, FSM solutions designed for businesses of all sizes. Their FSM solution supports end-to-end service operations from asset maintenance to AI-driven scheduling, technician coordination, and time tracking. They offer powerful functionality with a simple, easy-to-use interface. Last but not least, we have SAP, a global leader in ERP solutions. They have a comprehensive software portfolio supporting SMEs, regional entities, and large multinational enterprises. They also offer an extensive ecosystem anchored by SAP Business One and SAP S/4HANA. Okay, now I'm happy to introduce our featured speakers for today. First, we will have Alfie Amontos, Channel Sales Manager of SAP, followed by Jamie Horn, Regional Manager of B1 Solutions. Next, I'm also happy to introduce Dr. Josh Catterwell, CTO and co-founder of Staple AI. Okay, followed by Matthias Notz, Managing Director of Fentu.io. Okay, so now I'm happy to hand it over to Alfie, who will be giving us a sharing about SAP's roadmap to the intelligent enterprise. Alfie, please.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Priscilla. Allow me to share my presentation. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Again, my name is Alfie, and I represent SAP as the business leader of SAP Business One for Singapore, Malaysia, and the Philippines. And I look forward to connecting with everybody today. My agenda for today is quite simple. I will be sharing some important updates about our company, SAP, who we are, who SAP is. I will give you an introduction to the IDC research before we delve into SAP Business One, about about the product, the recent innovations, and the future plans. And we will wrap the presentation up with some key takeaways from the IDC research. If you have questions, clarifications along the way, feel free to comment down using the chat button. All right. And to ensure smooth presentation, allow me to turn off my camera this time. Hold on. Okay, so we are SAP and we are the world's largest provider of enterprise application software. And we do not only serve or cater to large enterprises or large organizations. As a matter of fact, 80% of our customers are from the SME or mid-market segment. Our purpose has always been bigger than technology. Let me know if my screen is moving. Oh, there.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Thanks, Priscilla. Our purpose has always been to help the world run better and improve people's lives. And we do this by bringing out the best in every business. Our vision translates into three clear commitments. We help transform your business at scale with AI, achieve more across the value chain, and innovate sustainably and with confidence. And my presentation today will be anchored in the IDC research published in December 2025. We understand that most growing businesses hit the same point. The systems that got them here cannot take them where they are going. So the IDC published this research on what is holding SMEs back, and we found out that the pattern is consistent. Businesses that have outgrown their current systems describe the same problems. One, decisions delayed by data they cannot find, processes held together by manual effort, and no clear view of what's happening across the business at any given point. And three things the IDC research makes clear. First, 56% of SMBs now rank ERP as a top technology investment. That means there's a recognition that fragmented systems are an active obstacle to growth. Second, 42% say increasing revenue is their number one priority, and yet their current systems cannot give them the visibility to pursue it effectively. And third, SMBs that have modernized their systems report improvements across decision making, operational efficiency, and both customer and employee experience. And ACP Business One is built for exactly this stage. In my next few slides, I will be sharing with you six important points why ACP Business One is the ultimate choice for businesses like yours. Number one, ACP Business One is tailored for SMBs. Yes, SAP Business One is one integrated platform covering finance, sales, procurement, inventory, and operations. And it gives you a single accurate view of the business, updated in real time, accessible across the organization. So here are the important points. It streamlines your financial operations. It maximizes customer relationships. It basically simplifies procurement and helps you manage your shipments, inventory, and pricing with less effort. So in terms of streamlining your financial operations, this is basically a confirmation for our existing customers who are joining us for today's session. So ACP Business One streamlines financial operations by automating accounting tasks. It helps it gives us tools to manage the entire sales process and customer life cycle efficiently. That is from initial contact to after sales support. Also, very important, ACP Business One helps streamlines the entire order to pay cycle for small and mid-sized businesses, managing vendor quotes, purchase requests or PR, and payments. And ACP Business One tracks shipments, inventory, and item locations accurately. So this particular slide actually shows you the different functionalities or capabilities available in ACP Business One. This is just a snapshot of what can be done, of what is available in the solution. The message here is that if you are a distribution company today and later on you will venture into, say, for example, a full-blown manufacturing company, the functionalities, the capabilities that you will be needing to set up the new business are just here. All you need to do is to enable or to configure the solution based on your specific requirements. And ACP Business One is used in more than 170 countries. And this is very important, most especially for mid market companies that are growing and expanding globally. So, in summary, ACP Business One is the ACP's best selling ERP solution by number of customers. We already have more than 83,000 unique customers and 1.2 plus million users worldwide who are consuming and using the solutions on a day-to-day basis. And as mentioned earlier, this is available in 170 plus countries with 50 country localizations in 28 languages. Second point, or number two, real-time insights. So ACP Business One offers sophisticated offers advanced built-in analytical capabilities as well as sophisticated complementary tools for business insights and business decisions, and it empowers the users in a very approachable way. For example, and I hope our existing customers joining us today will be able to confirm this, the ACP Business One web client analytics offers built-in sophisticated filtering and visualization capabilities that support creating reports and charts on the fly, manage user-defined queries, and reach the next level of contextual real-time analytics using linked views. Number three, streamlined processes. One of the key differentiators of ACP Business One right now, and actually one of the recent innovations we've made for ACP Business One, is the solutions readiness for AI and automation. Basically, ACP Business One integrates with what we call SAP AI services, such as ACP Document AI for automated invoice processing, and ACP Build Process Automation for eliminating repetitive and error-prone tasks. In addition, AI Foundation on ACP BTP, or we call it Business Technology Platform, enables developers to build intelligent and AI-driven extensions. One good example here is the ACP Build Process Automation bots for ACP Business One, which basically free up your employees from repetitive and error-prone tasks. One good example again is with intelligent invoice scanning. Instead of you manually entering the data into the ERP system, the bot simply reads the email, extracts an invoice, and automatically populates data. And all you need to do after that is to do a side-by-side review. Another one important point is that for more sophisticated requirements, you can actually create enterprise apps, automate workflows, and design business sites with no to low code through the ACP build under the ACP Business Technology platform. And number four, scalable and flexible. Yes, with its state-of-the-art functionality or state-of-the-art technology, ACP Business One basically offers deployment options both on-premise and the cloud, operated by ACP partners. And it runs seamlessly on ACP HANA or Microsoft SQL Server, ensuring performance and scalability. As you can see in this particular diagram, you can see that ACP Business One covers the core. It has the tools and functionalities if you want to extend or customize the solutions. You can consume the solution through desktop, mobile, web client using built-in analytics, and you can leverage on the different third-party add-ons or industry-specific add-ons that we've connected or that we've integrated with ACP Business One from our or delivered by our partners like B1 Solutions. And as I shared with you earlier, this is a snapshot of the key functionality of ACP Business One. But on top of all this are the add-ons delivered by partners, industry add-ons, as well as tax compliance add-ons. So most especially for our Singapore and Malaysia partners, we are so heavy right now in terms of e-invoicing. So our partner B1 Solutions has developed this particular add-on for you to be e-invoice compliant. And number 5 point, enhanced customer experience. Yes, uh, SAP Business One web client features a user-friendly web interface aligned with SAP Fury design principles. And it integrates the core business processes and functionalities of SAP Business One with advanced analytics and integration capabilities, making it an ideal companion for your business future growth. If you are familiar with SAP S4HANA solution, our solution for the large companies. Basically, B1 and S4HANA have the same look and feel because of the SAP Fury design principles being applied in both solutions. And very important point also for our existing and potential customers joining us today. ACP Business One has a strong product roadmap. And as our Chief Partner Officer Carl Farbach mentioned in December 2025, ACP Business One is of a strategic importance within the SAP solution portfolio. ACP continues to invest in the future of ACP Business One, and our partner ecosystem remains at the heart of this success, driving autonomy, resilience, and growth, and winning new customers every day. We have interesting and very helpful long-term product roadmap with continuous innovation for ACP Business One in terms of for both SAP HANA and SQL versions, for web client, for cloud, for our customers who are using SAP Business One Cloud Partner hosted solution, and for those customers also who are consuming the solution through mobile apps, there are that is actually part also of our product roadmap. And something to look forward to is the version 11. Yes, you've heard it right. Version 11 is coming up soon. We are targeting to release version 11 uh, by early 2027. All right. So if you're using version 10 now, you can expect that version 11 will be released in 2027. So our encouragement today is make sure that you're in the current version or in the latest version so it's easier for you to transition to version 11 later on. And to wrap up my presentation, allow me to share these important takeaways from the IDC research. One, businesses have recognized a fundamental truth. You cannot build on a foundation that wasn't designed for where you are going. Second, SMBs are embracing modernization, cloud deployment, AI integration, and partner driven innovation to achieve business agility, scalability, and growth. And the combination of advanced technology and strategic partnerships, that's why we have here Fen2.oi and Staple AI, to enable organizations to unlock new levels of efficiency, productivity, and innovation. And the last but not the least, the future belongs to those who are bold enough to transform, agile enough to adapt, and smart enough to leverage the right technology and partnerships. And with that, thank you very much for joining us today. If you have questions, feel free to write it down in the chat box. It's definitely ACP Business One today, tomorrow, forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alfie, for your lovely sharing about the future of SAP Business One. And I'm going to cover the next section about how to build the future ready enterprise with SAP ERP. Okay, and let me just share my screen now. Give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yep, we can.
Okay,
Yes, you can see
great,
it.
great. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, and just a quick introduction. My name is Jamie. I'm the Regional Sales Manager at B1 Solution. So in this section, I would like to share how you can start the foundation of building a future-ready enterprise with intelligent SAP ERP systems such as SAP Business One. Okay, and let's start by reframing what we mean by the future-ready enterprise. At its core, it is all about agility, intelligence, and scalability. But most importantly, it is how technology fundamentally changed the operating model. So we are not talking about ERP system as a system of record anymore. We are talking about an intelligent enterprise architecture where ERP, AI automation, and digital field operation work as a unified engine. And what does that translate to in practical terms? Firstly, organization can move away from spreadsheet-driven operations. There's no more human glue stitching the processes together manually. Second, you gain the ability to scale without linear headcount growth. So instead of doubling your admin teams when volume doubles, the system absorbs the complexity. And third, you start addressing what I call hidden revenue or revenue leakage. In many businesses, revenue is lost in small gaps, missing billabilities, incomplete field reporting, delay in invoicing, delay in recognizing the supplier invoices, etc. So with automation, these gaps are systematically closed. And finally, with AI layer into operations, you can optimize resources dynamically. For example, optimizing your field technicians or engineers route or service scheduling to improve the utilization and reduce costs. So this is not incremental improvement. This is a step changing in how the business operates in intelligent ERP. And let's start by grounding what we mean by future ready enterprise. At its core, it is not about implementing another system. It is not about connecting another third-party system. It is about removing manual dependency from your processes. So instead of people moving data between systems or multiple solutions, workflows become automated and event-driven. And as your business grows, the system absorbs the complexity. So you can scale without increasing your operation workload. At the same time, finance is no longer disconnected, and every operational activities is captured and translated in real time, ensuring accuracy and faster billing. And with AI analyzing your data continuously, the system doesn't just run your business, it helps you optimize it over time. So ultimately, it is not about running your operations with intelligence built in, not an added on. And real-time visibility, this is the second pillar. So most of the growing organizations structure with one core issue. They don't trust their own data. So you may have this scenario where your operational team pass you some reports, but you don't quite trust the data because you do not know how to verify them. You do not know what is the source of the data. So the data exists, but it is fragmented across systems, spreadsheets, and departments. A future-ready enterprises establish a single source of truth. So what that means is sales, finance, operation, field service are no longer working in silo. Everyone is aligned on the same data set, and decisions are based on live data, not historical snapshots. So this enables real-time KPI tracking, whether it is revenue, margins, cash flow, pipeline, or operational performance. But most importantly, it enables faster decision cycles. So management no longer spend time validating numbers, they spend time acting on them. That shift from validation to action, this is where the real competitive advantage comes in. And yeah, so the third pillar is the operational efficiency. But we are not talking about just improving the data entry. We are not just talking about the cost reduction. We are talking about eliminating friction across the entire value chain. So manual processes, like for example, the data entry, creating supplier invoices, do three-way matching, approvals, reconciliation. So these are not just inefficient, they are risk multipliers also. By introducing intelligence automation, you can process faster, you can reduce the error rates, and also teams can focus on the higher value work. At the same time, integration plays a critical role. When ERP, CRM, finance, and field operations are connected, the workflows become seamless. Hands off between the departments disappear and the bottlenecks are removed. So the key outcome here is you can scale your operations without increasing the complexity. And so Alfie has shared a lot about how beautiful SAP Business One is and also the longevity of SAP Business One in the market. Now, let's bring this to life with SAP Business One and how an intelligent enterprise operates in practice. So, at its core, it is all about embedding AI directly into business operation. The system is not just recording transactions, but interpreting, learning, and acting. So, for example, on the customer side, AI power OCR function can automatically read incoming purchase order, whether they come in via email, PDF, or even scanned documents. They can be converted into the sales order in the intelligence ERP like SAP Business One. So this eliminates the manual entry, reduce some errors, and significantly shorten the order processing. And on the supplier side, the same capabilities applies. Supplier invoices can be captured and read using the AI OCR function with machine learning models trained to recognize vendor formats, extract key fields like amount, tax, or line items, and importantly, automatically create AP invoices in the system. So what you get is not just automation, but a continuous accuracy improvement. And now, beyond back office automation, the intelligence extended into field operation as well. So, with solutions like our partner Fan2.io, you can digitally orchestra field service activities from scheduling to execution and reporting. So, the key shift is we are moving from process driven system to an intelligence driven operation. And let me give you a quick peek into SAP Business One, not as a system, but as an intelligence enterprise platform in action. So I'm going to toggle my screen into my system running on web. Okay, and give me a second. So what you are seeing now here is SAP Business One, where I power up using the browser like Google Chrome. Okay, so today I'm not going to walk you through the data entry. How do I create a customer? How do I create the quotation? Data entry is easy, but it is repetitive. It is hard work. What I wanted to show you today is how the SAP Business One enables a business to move from a fragmented system and manual processes into a real-time and intelligent enterprises. So everything you see now around three key things: visibility, automation, and control. So let's start with the executive dashboard or from the management perspective. So let me go to my analytics field over here. And what you are looking here is the web client. So this is the like a control tower of your business. And instead of waiting for reports or consolidated spreadsheet from your finance team, from a sales team, they may take, I don't know, 7, 10 days after closing. You will be able to get instant visibility into your revenue, into your cash flow and receivable. And importantly, this is not static. This is all real time. And these are all the KPI tiles or dashboard that you could actually select from the SAP library, okay, put into the workspace like that, or you can simply create a new dashboard KPI based on your condition, based on your preference. And for example, I can have a sales amount by different year. I can have another comparison between the sales and profit by month as well. And importantly, we are not just looking at the summary. If you would like to, you can do the drill down all the way to the actual transactions in seconds. So if I do it like this, the system will bring me to a more detailed breakdown by year, by month. And I can even change the view of the graph. So I do not want to see in a line. I want to see in a pie chart, okay, like this. Or I want to see it in another view like this, you can do that easily by switching the different graph as you prefer. Okay. And if you would like to, you will still be able to export to Excel for further analysis, or you can even share this particular reports, right, or the dashboard with your colleagues. Okay, so the system will be able to apply multiple filter as well. So you can do all sort of filters over here, okay, from SAP Business One. So what you can do, right, is you can build the story beautifully, and you can even use it for your management reporting, okay, on the monthly basis, on the quarterly basis. So yeah, okay, and this is how you can make use of the intelligence enterprise to make critical business decision. And next is let's take a simple but critical process, sales. So sales is simple, but it's not as simple as it is. It can be complicated. Okay, so let me go to my process map over here. This is a simple sales workflow that I have predefined in SAP Business One. So traditionally, after getting the confirmation from your customer, or after getting the purchase order from your customers, right? What you need to do next is you're gonna process it. So you can open this functions called process sales order. Click on the particular sales order that you would like to process. So for example, I have this with Delta Airline. Okay, and what you do next is you have to do a double check on the item pricing every day. Okay, every lines. Okay, make sure the text apply, make sure it is billed to the right billing address, shipping address, etc., before you can save it in the actual sales order. So with the AI functions, right, after getting the customer's PO in PDF or in an email, okay, or in an Excel, we could actually do the integration and create the sales order directly without all the data entry. So this is something that my partner Josh will share you a little bit more in depth, okay? But it is not just limited to sales. It could be for supplier invoices. It could be any use cases that you can think of. The whole idea is how we can make use of the AI function to cut down all this repetitive work. And also, now this is SAP Business One is fully on the web client. And if you look at the top, these are all the functionality that you will be able to use, and you will be able to transact in SAP Business One. And what you see here is not just an ERP system anymore. This is a platform that allows businesses to move from manual processes to intelligence automation, from data silos to real-time visibility, and from reactive decisions to proactive management. Okay, and let me just go back to my deck to fin. Okay. Okay, let me just do it. Okay, let me just reshare again, yeah. Yep. Okay, so this is how the integrated solution can support your system to be a ready future enterprise ERP. Okay, and
Sorry, Jamie,
so
just 1 second. What I'm seeing is the window version of the presentation.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. Let me just try to share again.
Sure.
You can see?
Yes,
Okay.
it's good now. Thank you.
Okay, great. So yeah, so SAP Business One is not just an ERP, but an intelligent enterprises platform in action. And okay, so I'm sure you have if you have a lot more other questions about how the system can support you in reality, what are the functionality, and please drop us your please drop your questions in the chat box. We can address it later. Okay, but before I pass my section to Josh, right? Let me give you a quick snapshot of who we are. And we are a global technology partner headquartered in Switzerland with delivery capabilities across more than 35 countries. Which set us apart is our ability to act as a single point of contact covering your ERP, your cloud, your analytics, and support. So you don't have to manage multiple vendors. With more than 20 years of ERP experience and over 1,000 successful rollout, we bring both skill and execution certainty. Our multilingual teams and our implementation methodology, which we call Prime, ensure consistent delivery globally with strong local relevances. So in short, we help companies scale efficiently and transform with confidence. So today we bring together a global network of over 20 legal entities operating as one team across every time zone. And over the past years, we have built not just system, but also experience. So this is the depth of experience that allows us to move with confidence, to execute with precision, and also skill with our client, with SAP Business One, with our partner, and also AI technology as they evolve into the intelligent enterprises. Okay. And so next I'm going to pass the section to Josh. He'll be sharing a lot more details with you about the AI-driven document automation.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Let me share my screen. Can I get some a wave of emojis from people? Everyone is still there in the audience? Hey, fantastic. Cool. Great to be here. Let me share my screen. I'm going to be talking about document processing with AI. So let me just get my screen shared first. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. Yep.
Yes,
Wonderful.
we can.
Cool, fantastic. I'm just going to put a timer on so I don't overrun. There we go. Okay. So, I'm Dr. Josh. I'm CTO at Staple AI. We're a Singapore-based AI company, and we work on file processing, automating those difficult workflows for enterprises. A lot of AP processing, everyone's got accounts payable, AR, worker onboarding, KYC loan applications. We do a lot. We support huge enterprises. So while I've still got your attention right at the start, the topic today is what makes good AI document processing. So I'm going to tell you straight away at the start of the presentation what good looks like. A good process will have high accuracy. That means both in the field level of how we're pulling data from documents, but also how many documents are going straight through that process with everything correct perfectly. So field level, document level, they're slightly different. Most people care about document level, because that's what they're thinking. How many documents do I need to interact with? High accuracy on document level. Next is fast time to deploy. Not being stuck for years and years and years, going through deployment and the setup configuration of the system, because in that time, things might have changed. You want to get going with that system quickly, see the return on investment, and then open up to more use cases. Next is having a system that is both secure and auditable. Secure means that the files are stored safely. You have access control, both in how people log in, maybe by single sign-on, but also about what they can see, what settings they can interact with. Auditable means you can see the path every document took and why certain decisions were taken in the processing of that document, including decisions that were taken by an AI. You should be able to audit those and understand why they happened. It's a thing that most businesses are not doing right now. And finally, flexible. It should be able to expand across different use cases. So maybe you start in AP, but you expand to AR, or you start in non-PO based invoicing, but then you expand to e-invoicing and AP based, PO based invoicing with like a two-way match or a three-way match. Whatever it is, you want to have something that can spread and take up more workload to take more things off, because if you don't have that, what you're going to have is a hodgepodge of different systems across the business. So there, 2.5 minutes, I've told you straight away, but I'll go into a bit more detail across the presentation. So I'm from Staple. What is Staple? As I mentioned, Singapore-based AI company. We've been doing this for 7 years, nearly going on 8 now. That means as an AI company doing document processing, we predate large language models. We were here before ChatGPT. I know, it's a long time ago. So we've really are experts in the area here. 9 of our customers are Fortune 50s. So that takes the level of enterprises we go to. So we have a lot more than 9 customers, but we support the really big enterprises in the document processing. We have customers in now 58 countries. On average, people see 9 times increase in document processing. And we have, proud to say we have 100% deployment success rates. Okay, so document processing. Today we're going to talk about the first mile of document processing. So what does that mean? It means everything from the business receiving a document to that data being filed perfectly in your system of record. That will probably be your SAP system. So that's going to mean a lot of things. It's going to mean getting in that data from email, from scanner, etc. You've got to classify what kind of document or data it is. You've got to capture the key data from it. You've got to have to validate that data against other references you have, reconcile it against other information, and then you've got to export it. And all of that system has to be auditable. Okay. The problems with existing systems, and we're all aware of these, is firstly they're manual. No one likes spending time doing this. It's boring. It has high error rates because it's boring, so people do not do it diligently. It has slow turnaround because, you know, after 5 or 6 p.m. people might not start to pick it up again until the next day. And it's difficult to maintain. And primarily these systems are difficult to maintain because they rely on people. People look for new jobs, and sometimes it's difficult to hire in staff to do data entry and document processing work. So those problems you have. What you gain with AI systems is primarily flexibility. That is the ability to handle multiple formats, changing data, like messy inputs. You've got emails, you've got photos, you've got PDFs, and to be adaptable. New styles come in, no problem. New vendor, no problem. New file format, change of process, can deal with it. So let's go straight in. I've still got attention, and we'll go into a little bit of Staple on that. So Staple, here's our user interface. We do most of our work behind the scenes, but it gives you a more impressive demo. So here I can see some documents that have come in. These are invoices. Staple has classified them according to the country, in this case. And if I click on one, here we see the document in the center of the page. And on the left-hand side, we've got all the key data points that Staple is extracting independently of the format of that document. So this is an invoice. So the data we're looking for is stuff like invoice number, invoice dates, etc. Also captured line items here. And again, be able to show where all that data comes from. So many of you are familiar with this. You've probably seen the old school OCR systems where you have to like take data from a document, but you also have to like make a stencil of what a document looks like. No longer. Any style, any language, any format can get the data, can read it out, can standardize it. That includes different languages. So here we can see the data being translated from Thai here to English. So it really will take through anything and standardize it. With Staple, we have this user interface, which allows you to see why the AI is making decisions it is. You can see where data is coming from. You can also have that user in the loop for making interactions, which is an important thing, which I'll come back to in a moment. But I think everyone's clear on the flexibility of reading. You also have flexibility of use cases. So here I've got invoices, but maybe I also want to process things like ID documents. So here we've got ID cards, passports, all sorts of things. And again, getting these data from these documents independently of the format. And all I've done is set the system to get some different data points, and it's getting those. Dead easy, super flexible. You can customize this in a few clicks in the software to change what you're capturing. And this data, of course, usually we push it straight to the SAP system. For now, in this demo, I'm just going to take it to a local file so you can see what I'm doing and get that data. I'm going to get it. There we go. So then, usually we populate it with the document straight into SAP. And this all happens automatically. You don't even log in the system. So if anyone's still reading and typing in documents manually, this is only the basics. We're only 5 minutes in. We're just getting started here. Okay, so what makes best practices in AI document processing? The first question you're going to have is buy versus build. And for very, very simple use cases, is an argument for going for build. You can use tools like Nathan. You can use tools like Sim, maybe using OpenAI, Claude. You can build a quick workflow, and it gives you full architectural control. But it will be slower to build, and it is going to have a higher ongoing maintenance cost. That is not only in the support for the system, it's actually in the individual processing of documents, because you're sort of just throwing raw AI at it, just lots of tokens. With Buy, you tend to have a rapid deployment ability, so you can get things straight out the box within a day, or maybe a little bit longer for a couple of days. You can have your use cases done with the integration. You also have that proven reliability of the SLAs, and with the vendor, you have that throat to choke to give you that SLA assurance. You also have the lower operational overhead in implementing. So there are cases where build is an option. For most enterprises, buy is going to be more cost effective straight away. That's obviously the cost of engineering something and assigning someone. Even for simple workflow can take months to deploy it. The issue with buying isn't only cost though, it tends to be about flexibility, about build. The problems tend to be about the failures that can happen. Things will work in happy cases, but when you take them into the real world, they break. And that's because in most cases, they aren't built by professionals, and they can't handle all the edge cases that the world really throws at you. We'll go into those in a second. There also tends to be no audit trail. You're unable to see what happened. And then, of course, you have the maintenance cost. So let's give examples of what I mean by edge cases and audit trail. Come back to staple. Edge case. Maybe a document comes in and it's not one document. It's several documents stuck together. You've got purchase orders and invoices and a form and another invoice all come together. You want to be able to automatically set the splitting of documents. In Staple, you can put in those descriptions of how you want to split things, does it automatically. But let's say maybe you want to manually split them as well. It can happen sometimes. You want to have that in the system, be able to select pages, see them, edit them, crop them, rotate them, etc., without leaving a different system, because you've got documents to process. You want to knock these out quickly. In audit, let's say you want to see what happened with a document. Let's find something interesting. I've got some ID cards here. So here, when was this document sent in and who changed it? if they did anything. So if a user did a point and click to change some data, what did they change? You want to be able to track all of that audit information. So I can see this document was labeled a little bit earlier today when I sent it in. And also one of the ID values was changed by someone as well. These sorts of things. You may also deal with difficult cases of extraction. For example, that first table I showed you on that document looked lovely, but what if the table of items in a document, instead of looking like a normal table, looks like this, just a paragraph of stuff? You want a system that's able to deal with that and do that extraction as well, and say where the data came from. And if it can't say where it came from, it's not auditable. Okay, let's go back in. So you want to be able to track field level accuracy, document level accuracy. You want to be able to see the confidence values, and you want to have the option for having that user interface where necessary. You never want to go to a human interface. Ideally, documents come in, they're in SAP. Life is good. You don't want more software. But it's better to have the user interface and not need it than need it and not have it. Because dealing with those sorts of problems with data is like finding a needle in a haystack otherwise, especially if you don't have an audit trail to know what happened. Okay, so I've gone through a little bit of demo here, but let's do a couple more things. What about validating documents against other sources? So let's say a document comes in. Sometimes to get it into your other system, you'll need to have things such as vendor codes or SKU codes if it's an invoice, and that won't be on the document. In Staple, you can do this automatically. So here we've got this document, it's pulled some data out, easy peasy, but then it's got this vendor code. So the vendor code for this is fishballs, but that's not written on the document. And you get this because Staple is able to hold knowledge-based data, so reference information. So this reference information is our vendor master data. So Staple is able to see that, say, oh, this is the one I matched it against. Now I can go to the data set to see it. That's the kind of thing you need to have. And often when you're integrating systems, you need this information as well, especially for things like accounts payable. Otherwise, you can't even put it in your system of record. You need vendor codes, you need SKU codes in cost centers. Other cases might be, you scan a document and you need to know what purchase order it matched against. So here I've got some documents. You can see them. Lovely invoice there, mixed language. And I can see that this document is been matched against other data. So if I click it, it's saying that this document should automatically compare against purchase order information that I have in the system. So here's the purchase order data. Here's the document, and it's compared the data and said, oh, got some problem with the melons. You ordered 13, you've got 22. That's a problem. Lemons, you've also got a cost discrepancy on lemons, which seems to be outside of the tolerance. And that's throwing off all this other data as well. So now your subtotals don't match. Yeah. So it's things like this. Well, I've got another case here. Got back to the noodle document. That one looked fine, perfectly matching. So if I wanted to, I could send that straight out to my system. If it was connected, let's confirm. This one's not connected to my SAP system. But that would immediately done. So the document goes in, matches the PO, gone, fulfills the PO in your system. All like that, super easy. Or the simple ability to just find documents. You want to be able to find which documents have lemons. Here it is. There's your delivery order. So these sorts of things. How long have I got? Ooh, go through. Okay. And in a good system, you should have flexibility to expand to other use cases. So you will usually start in a high volume use case, and that will usually be in accounting. So that's invoices, usually AP, e-invoice processing, which Staple supports globally, Invoice Now, LHDN, India system, all the PayPal systems globally we support, and China, of course, with the golden ticket system. POs, GRNs, bank statement matching tends to be common. But then expanding out to other work in the future with the same system. So activity reporting, supply chain work, taxation reporting, middle and back office activity, etc. Having it all in one system improves the ROI of that system, but also it consolidates your data into one place, which you get advantage of in analytics. It also consolidates tool use for staff. The staff are more familiar with a certain number of select but highly powerful tools, and they become much more powerful at using them. So here's a quick example of Staple being used with a scanner. So here, in case you thought it was all digital documents, I take the document, I drop it in, I hit scan. And this is what many of our customers do, except the scanner won't usually be next to the computer. Usually the scanner's in the warehouse, or it's in several of their restaurants. They've got scanners all over the place. And then it's going to a centralized system in their head office, say, Angmo-Kio or something, or sometimes in a different country entirely. So documents come in, and then click it, there's the document straight in the system. So that's how easy it can be. Okay, so let's go to analytics. So traditionally in document processing, analytics has been really hard because the information is locked away in PDFs. So to get good data, you would have to get all these PDFs, all the scans, put them in some data lake or some data warehouse, and then you have to do all this complicated stuff on the right about building a business insights dashboard. And that can be really tricky. With Staple, if you're using Staple as your unified platform, you can do it all immediately because all the data's in Staple, it's extracted, so you can look through it all in one place immediately. So we allow customizable dashboards for the various use cases you might have. So if you're doing, say, accounting, you may say, what's the average price of apples each month? Or which was my top vendor? Which POs are still open, what percentage? But a different person may say they're doing ID cards. They might say how many people who have received ID cards from are under the age of 20. Different use cases, all completely customizable in the system. And consolidating data really allows you that. I'm 20 minutes already, but I've only got a few slides left. Last points are about trust. This is auditability of the system. AI trust is now law. You are legally on hook for the data that AI systems produce if it's in your business. It's not good enough to say, oh, ChatGPT said it, so I just put it in SAP. I assumed it was fine. Doesn't cut it. This is really clearly outlined in the EU AI Act, which is generally the bit of legislation which is being copied into countries. Singapore's also a leader in this area, broadly agrees with this. There's also data residency problems, like what model are you using? Where is it held? If I'm in China, can I use OpenAI? If I'm in Singapore, can I use Qwen? Can the data go out the country? People are not paying enough attention to this. 98% of enterprises are increasing use of AI, increasing their budgets. Very few of them are looking at how they're using it. So what you need to do is just beware of a black box. If you're taking from source to system and you've got a black box in the middle, that's not okay. You used to have a person you could talk to and say, why did you do this? If you're replacing that person with a system, that system needs to explain what it did. Which AI models processed the data? How were these models inferred? Did they have human input? How do we know? Was this verified or cross-referenced? Can I track where this data should be held, or where the model is held, or what the version is? Were business rules used, etc., etc.? This is probably one of the biggest problems in people's deployments right now. Staple, if you're a user of Staple, it's completely covered. But if you're looking at an internal build, do bear that in mind, because I think it is the number one thing that's going to trip people up in the future. Okay. Wow, that 20 minutes went really fast. So, as I mentioned, again, the best practices for AI document processing. Start with high volume, prioritize those, and then expand into other ones and choose a system that is flexible. Design for accountability. Ensure that you can track what happened in the system and why AI did the things it did. Try and have a method where you can ship those things fast. You have the system which is flexible. If you have a system which has enough features, you'll be able to make things quickly, and you'll be able to edit things if you didn't quite get it right the first time. And it shouldn't be a problem if you've got the right feature set. And finally, allow human review. You know, it's not ideal. You don't want to have it, but it's better to have it and not need it, because data out in the real world is messy. You order apples one day and you get bananas. You need to have a way to see what happened. Okay, that was some really practical steps. I hope that's helpful. If you want to see more of a demo of Staple, do reach out. My email is josh@staple.ai, or you can go to our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Next, can we have Matthias, please?
Yeah, I'm directly here. Hi, everyone. I assume I'm audible and everyone can hear me.
Yes,
Oh.
it's good.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much for everyone. Thanks for sharing as well already about SAP Business One and about Staple. I will now go a little bit into field service management, and already initially mentioned what field service is and what we do. So we are a company specializing on the technicians going out in the field, maintaining any kind of assets, equipment inside the field, either for your own equipment or for your customers' equipment. So if you're a service company, it would be servicing the customer's equipment. If you have your own equipment in the field, either at customer locations or as well at your own manufacturing plants, of course, those as well need to be maintained, and you need to make sure when was the last time you serviced it, who has actually serviced it, and when as well can you as well send what kind of technician towards that machine in order to get serviced. That is a little bit of what we are doing on a high level. As an introduction, just very quickly and briefly to our company. We are a company that is headquartered here in Singapore, and we are 3 co-founders, with 2 of us having extensive knowledge from a software application level. So I myself, I used to work for SAP, and my co-founder actually used to work for a Salesforce organization. And the third co-founder actually has no IT background. Why? Because he actually comes from the field, he comes from the industry, he comes from construction. Why is that important? Because we wanted to build as well an application that's not just built by IT with nice features and fly me to the moon specs, but actually that the technicians in the field can actually use. That's very, very important for us as well, that we actually build our application together with our customers and getting the feedback in order to make it easier to use, easier to manage, and easier to maneuver. Apologies, I have a bit of a cold, so I might cough from time to time. And what we as well have is, just from a perspective, field service application. So of course we have the perspective of a mobile app. We have checklists. So when you send out your technicians inside the field, who actually needs to run through a certain checklist. So if you have any kind of checklists in your current organization, even before you start servicing something. So it starts with simple things like, has the machine been turned off? Why? Because don't put your fingers or hands into any machines that's still running. Do you wear your proper safety equipment? So documenting all those steps as well. Then when you do the actual service, what is it that you are supposed to do? Are you supposed to change the oil? Are you supposed to change any kind of spare parts? So as well the entire spare part management. Really to simplify it, making as well your technicians much quicker inside the field, that they know what they're supposed to do. You can as well have a knowledge base integrated, and as well then say what kind of time was actually consumed, what kind of materials were consumed, and therefore as well what were the things that actually have happened. And of course, we make that happen from our side on the field service, but as well, who of you has any kind of execution in the field? Then they're currently sending a lot of times the people out inside the field with a piece of paper and a pen. And then the technician comes back and says, hey, I have used X part, and X part, and your inventory management is absolutely off. If it's small little devices that cost a couple of cents, might still be okay. If you're a company that deals as well with higher value spare parts, articles, things like that, it might get very expensive very quickly. And of course, your inventory should always be on spot. That's why as well, SAP Business One should be your inventory management solution. And of course, if you're doing any kind of work for the customers on site, how quickly is it currently that you get an invoice out? I don't know how it's for your side, but for a lot of our customers, it's very important that as well, when the technician completes the job, and the technicians might be out in the field for 2 weeks straight, and only after 2 weeks they can then come back to the office on a Friday, hand in all the paperwork, trying to remember what they actually did. And then only afterwards someone enters everything manually into the accounting system and can actually write the invoice. Meaning the invoice process is quite delayed. You might then get questions from the customer. Oh, when was the person really here? Do you have proof what they did? All the kind of things. So that is exactly as well where a field service management application can actually help you. What as well it does is obviously it eliminates paperwork, what I just mentioned already. It gives you a clear guidance on work to be done. It gives you a very clear objection of what actually needs to be done on site with a very straightforward process. You can allocate your resources better, meaning imagine your own production machine stops or the one of your customers. How quickly can you actually get a technician out in the field? How do you know who's available, who's closest by at the moment? So really quick resource allocation and very quick as well to resolve the topic at hand. So you don't want to send a technician out when you know you actually have certain spare parts that are needed. And the technician then actually doesn't care about spare parts, meaning so drives there, perhaps you're based in Malaysia, then you might need to drive quite a long distance or a long time in order to reach the customer site. So you want to as well make sure first-time resolution. And of course, disconnected from ERP. If you have paperwork, if it's not connected to your ERP system, then you're missing out on massive opportunities. Why? Because I mentioned already too, but there's a long list of opportunities or advantages when you actually connect the FSM towards your FSM, to your ERP. Here I just have put in a couple of numbers of average time savings. So for example, how customers can actually reduce tremendous amount of time in order for the invoicing, how it's actually reducing the planned downtime, the unplanned downtime, so that you actually say, I need to service a machine every 3 months, every 6 months in order to go there and be preventative. And of course, the improvement of first-time fix rates that I as well mentioned. And if you have questions, of course, to any kind of numbers, how it would impact your business, please do feel free to reach out here to the team of B1 Solutions as well. We can schedule as well a meeting and say, okay, based on our customers, based on our industry knowledge, what is actually the real return of investment for you? Because an FSM is not only to make the life easier for the technicians, but of course, it as well can very quickly generate a return of investment for your organization itself. All right, let's come really to what we do and what we have. This is a quick overview of our typical modules that we have in place. The modules we have is a case. So a case is a customer or anyone fills out a form, calls you and says, hey, my machine has some issues. Hey, I need some repair. Hey, I need some maintenance work. And that, of course, can be generated via a phone call, via a message, so WhatsApp message we could integrate, an online portal, an email, all those kind of things. That creates a case in our system. You might need to create as well a quote. Why? Because some customers, if it's external work, want to know how much it's going to cost before they actually send, agree to have someone being sent on site. So you can actually create a quote. And as well in the quoting process already, we have a tight integration with SAP Business One, meaning when you are generating a quote, all the pricing logic, all of that information actually comes from SAP Business One. So whatever on pricing logics you have maintained there for the customer is automatically applied in a quote that you as well generate in Phantom. Once a quote is actually then approved, it would work to go to a work order. The work order can be as well classified in different tasks. The task could be scenarios like you have to travel there, then you have to execute the repair, you have to travel back, or as well imagine you're doing installation work. One is you install it, you commission it, you do the startup of the machine. So that might be 3 different tasks altogether. Why? Because it might be different teams that are working on it, might be different kind of schedules involved. And of course, then afterwards, all that links as well to the material. So what kind of material you already assigned during the work order creation, what is the material that the team then additionally used as well on the site. And all that information, of course, flows back into the ERP once actually job is completed. You might see here a small icon called service contract. We as well have service contracts. So if you have contracts with customers or even could use it for your own plant maintenances, you can actually set up when the machine needs to be scheduled for maintenance again. And that automatically then creates a new work order, can assign it immediately to even a technician so that you directly know who is going to out there and you don't need to have a lot of manual paperwork processes. Of course, you can as well schedule dispatch either on a map or on a dispatching screen so that you could say who's actually available, who can I put together in order to run through the execution process. And of course, last but not least, we have the mobile execution. The mobile execution is what the technicians are doing. You see here, we have the possibility of a tablet. We have as well phone support. We support Android as well as Apple. And one further scenario is you can even run our app inside a browser window in order for anyone that doesn't have a mobile phone or a computer, a tablet with them, they can actually use a computer. We have a couple of customers where they need to use a computer. Imagine you have a manufacturing machine, you read them out as an error code. That's not going to happen with a phone. That's actually needing the Windows computer to be plugged into that. All right. I would go into a demo. That's another screen, just explaining a little bit what we have around here. And I'm sure you will as well receive the slides from the B1 Solutions team in order to guide you through those elements. As it was shared already by the B1 Solutions team earlier, we as well have a browser interface. So we have the browser directly here. You can as well customize or change all of the dashboards. So what you actually want to see, what's important for you to see. So you can see here the workload distribution. We can as well see the number of tickets or any kind of other statistics you want to see from within the application. We can actually display here and make that happen. We support as well multiple languages. Right now in my system, it's English and Spanish activated. We even support Thai, Chinese, all different kind of languages are actually supported so that you can actually change as well the language across per the users on the office screen as well as on the mobile app. On the left-hand side, we see the different work centers. And for today's demo, I just hit a couple of work centers that you don't see too many, so that it's a bit more clean. So for example, the quotes you can see that I mentioned earlier, we won't be able to show today simply because we are running on a tight schedule. So if you want to see more, if you have a certain scenario, please do reach out to the team so that we can actually schedule some time together. Our system, as I mentioned earlier, has been designed with users together. So as well, one important factor was always usability. And we are very happy and proud about it and make it better and better with each customer feedback. And one of those innovations was as well the work order wizard. So instead of needing to find all the informations together, I can actually say, what kind of work order type do I have? What is a customer that I want to bring in? So you can see as well there's a mandatory field, and you can see all the different company IDs. For those of you who have already seen SAP Business One demo, you would see a lot of the familiar names because it's an integrated demo scenario as well towards SAP. Automatically can connect to the contact, and we can have multiple locations even with sub-locations, all these kind of things, so that you can as well bring directly those across. If my system had any kind of address directly allocated, it would pop up here. We as well have the functionality if you have multiple outlets, multiple team structures, locations, where as well you would send your team from. So let's say you have a company and that you are having operations in Singapore, in JB, and in Kuala Lumpur, meaning you might have 3 different locations from where you can as well schedule your technicians. That's exactly this branch functionality, where you can as well say from where do you actually want to send your team over. Assets are, for those who are using SAP, that are equivalent or similar towards equipment. So you can as well select one or multiple equipments directly that you would need to service within the field. You can as well see that certain equipments in my demo here have a next maintenance date, meaning as well we could automatically schedule the next maintenance for these equipments. I can give all of this a name. Service of, maybe search, April. I can say when do we want to start that work, just a plan date. I can give a description. I can even make file attachments, meaning I can as well bring in any kind of attachments that I want to show to my team on site, and therefore they would have availability across that. I could assign vehicles, tools, so any kind of vehicles that you might have. Either it's a vehicle that's automatically associated to a person, as well as the complete availability is being possible, or some of our customers even have rental equipment, meaning they would not necessarily need to be tracked for availability. So that is as well as an option. Tools, any kind of special tools that they would need on site. Might it be a pressure washer where you don't have 100 lying around? Might it be any kind of more expensive tools that actually need to be as well on the job site? And followed by, you can actually create tasks. So a task might be in the different, as a subject, when are you actually planning to do it? If you have any kind of type of work, hazardous, non-hazardous, dangerous, not dangerous, or as well installation, service. So there you have a lot of possibility to actually work through. You can as well give it a complete description. From here already, I could as well assign technicians. So I could as well directly assign me, or I could as well say, oh, I need actually people from a different branch as well. So I can as well assign multiple people directly across this. So meaning I can not only bring one technician across, I can have directly multiple people working on this because we have a lot of assets, for example, that need to be maintained. And you can see right now as well, it automatically added parts because we have a setting that you can, for example, add certain parts directly towards as well, the work. So for example, for hazardous work, you can automatically add parts that is complete settings per branch or per work type as well. I can say next step. I can review everything that I actually generated just now. and then have as well a look and submit this. We have then the resource dispatcher. The resource dispatcher would show me all the work that actually is currently being done. So we as well have the different kind of elements that we actually have here. We have as well the different kind of what everyone is working on. I can as well, depending on my authorization, see everyone in the organization, what they're working on, and you can directly as well see that more things are becoming directly available here. I could simply drag and drop them as well in. So that directly brings me to a scheduling towards a technician, any kind of tools that are needed, any kind of product that's needed, etc., etc. And I can do that pretty much for all of the different elements, and I can directly as well save and schedule. If I want to change the schedule as well, so right now we are in a daily view, I could as well go to a weekly view and actually simply move this one as well to, let's say, Saturday. So I can very easily change this. If I want to add then more technicians as well towards it, I can as well say that here as well. I can see if someone is actually a preferred resource on this, meaning this person might have then as well directly a security clearance or is actually having any kind of clearance or preferred by the client. If I drag and drop, it will directly move that as well for the other person. I mentioned earlier the material request. Material request is as well something that we directly have here. So we have then directly on the material request any kind of work order information. We have warehouses which are directly linked to SAP Business One, as well as any kind of material requests that are currently created. We can actually approve them. We can as well set auto approval, rejected if they're automatically used. For example, that certain parts can be automatically used so that the technician doesn't need to do anything extra within the field itself. Now with that, actually, we have then the layer of the mobile. So if I change towards the mobile view in order to show you how that actually looks for a technician as well. And we'll come back to the office view then afterwards. All right, and here we have our I got an echo there. Okay, and now we have as well here our mobile app. So it's a native mobile app. I'm just displaying on a very small iPad. Typically, it's an iPad mini that I use. We as well, of course, if you use a larger screen of what is a different calendar views, I can see what is actually done for today. If I change it, I see as well what has been done from yesterday, for tomorrow, as well as automatically if the office would now create anything new for me, it would actually pop up, and on the top right corner you can as well see there's a notification icon that actually then directly tells you a new work or some notification for me that is relevant. Further, I can see what is due for my day today. I might need to travel somewhere, I might need to do some services, and I have another object here, MaxiTech, with a date. I can as well see anything that's overdue or that is actually planned and can go through the different scenarios. Further on the mobile app, we as well have something called cherry picking, meaning I could as well see on a map where actually is any kind of work that needs to be done. I can as well go in, assign someone else. I can as well take a look who's assigning. So I could as well assign it to someone else if I'm not available, or I could as well say if I want to have anything that's unassigned and pick that as well forward to me, because I might have been done already with my jobs. I can as well see a calendar view similar to the screens that we had earlier. So if we allow any kind of technicians to reschedule work, if we allow them as well to manage their own schedule, or even have as well all the overviews directly on the tablet, that as well can be directly here. We have the task screen. I just go back to it, and we can actually see then what is the different tasks that I'm supposed to run through. We have the service of the device as an example, where on the left-hand side, we directly see what is the activities that are needed to be done. When is it supposed to be done? I get a description, what we are supposed to do and need to service for assets for this customer. I can as well click on the work order number and see all the different tasks associated to this. I can further see for this location, there have been remarks made. I need to park behind the building. Then I know who actually I need to contact to actually get in. For example, the security officer. I can as well see any customer contact who has done actually the work order itself. I can as well see the team information, anyone else with me on it, any vehicle on it, etc., etc. So it gives me a lot of information as the technician in the field. Further, I could see all the history across the location. And of course, I could as well see the history of each of the devices. And once I actually go in, I could start my work. And with that, automatically then activate as well a timer. You can as well select any kind of checklists in order to then run through. We have a wizard as well for that, meaning you can actually click through with yes, no, not applicable, and so on and so forth. We as well have a readout functionality where then it's opening a table view. For example, the temperature at start, after 2 minutes, after 5 minutes. You can actually enter those kind of information directly across it. When is the next service maintenance? I can as well select next service should be in June. I can take images and so on and so forth. So I can actually run through a longer list. We can as well make certain items mandatory so that you can't complete this checklist until it's actually done. We have asset parts, which are the spare parts, exchangeables. So as well, whenever you have any kind of spare parts, exchange parts, we can as well mark them as when have they been installed, when is the next replacement. So if I change this one to it's today, it calculates automatically when it needs to be replaced next time. I can as well make a remark for the next use, under next use, multiple remarks options in order to save that. And of course, I could as well add new spare parts as well. And that integrates as well to your entire SAP Business One library, meaning you can directly as well map that out and as well create them directly in the field. I can log additional time as well as I could log now time even for my coworker that is with me, might not have their own tablet. I could say what kind of type it is. I can make notes for them, how long they actually have been working on it. So let me just backtrack that a little bit. You can directly see working time has been now 2 hours. And I could as well then enter travel employee. As I mentioned earlier, I could then log, for example, for my colleague as well time, sign it, and because a lot of the customers want to have their images as well allocated to it, I could as well directly take an image that actually have been on site and bring that in so that as well the customer can't really say, hey, you have not been here, or whatever I needed to do. We can as well say, I use this label now. I can acknowledge that. So it was just a pop-up to say, actually, I exceeded my time already. I can as well add more material, so I don't necessarily want to record everything as a spare part that I actually used, because if it's just batteries, things like that, that might be easy. But I can as well say, I use additional materials across it. And we can even say a product description below it, if it's on warranty, for which warehouse actually I consumed it, and take any images. Why? Because a lot of our customers, again, have the challenge. They have a lot of items in SAP. The technicians don't necessarily need to know which is each, so they can actually book it first, take an image of it, and then later on the office, the parts person can actually correct any kinds of things in order to make it the right part and then say, yes, that's good. Right now, you could see that actually mine is currently under approval. So with that, actually, we have that approval functionality as well in there, where then that part could be approved, and that part can then be approved by the office. And if I just do that currently here on the office view, then all I would need to do as well afterwards is refresh my screen, and then automatically my technician can as well go ahead and actually consume this material. So if I refresh this, then you can see this just changed. I can use it and be done. I can as well add tools, make my work notes, add more images, or even create new requests. Why? Because today I'm here for a repair and I would need to say, hey, actually, we need to replace the motor component. I could say we need to make an offer and actually then save it, meaning my office would have just received a notification from me as a technician, hey, there's a new request now coming in that actually we need to or should replace the motor. I can review my personal time, I can sign it again, take images again, and be done with this asset line. And now it's sending already all the information back to the office version. And as well, if I had completed everything, I can actually then say I can sign it. But as well, here you can as well see that create new or add existing, meaning if the office has been scheduling something and it's not completed yet, I can actually as well say, oh, we actually found a new device that we could as well service. I can add it, or I can then say I sign it and actually be done as a technician on site with this task. I would see all the material consumption. I would see that I can actually have the manager or the customer sign, depending on the setup. We directly have a satisfaction that we can enable or disable. The technician can as well sign the complete work order. And upon completion of the same, we can now immediately trigger as well either automatically an integration into SAP, because all information would have been validated already, and the sales order is not then being created in SAP itself, or I could as well have that information first SAP itself. So that is a different kind of possibilities. I'm just going to share my screen one more time. And because I shared on my tablet, I just need to hang up here. If we come back then here towards a task view, we can see that the task has been automatically completed. I can as well get a complete overview about all the assets that have been done, how much time each of the assets spent, any kind of checklist that I would have filled out, any kind of print that I would want to generate. So as well, I can create that all as a print document. And if I wanted to see the customer signature, and of course, what I mentioned earlier as well, have all the material, all the times, etc., directly allocated. And according to my timer, I'm perfectly on time for once. I apologize if I talk very fast. It was supposed to be a quick scenario where I run through. So I wanted to give you as much as possible for today. If you have questions, as I mentioned now multiple times, please do feel free to reach out, put them in the chat. I believe some chat messages have been generated already by the team here, so that we can as well interact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matthias, for your sharing, and thank you to all our speakers as well, Alfie, Jimmy, and Josh. Okay, so now we would like to open up the floor for questions. Okay, so while some of our participants are keying in their questions, I think maybe we can start to answer some questions that we see at the Q&A section now. So the first question we received, right, is there a minimum or maximum number of users in Fento FSM, and how quickly can the project be initiated? So I think this would be a question for Matthias.
Yeah, perfect. So how minimum user is one, because without one user, it's very hard to use the system. Apart from that, we don't have any other user requirements. Of course, for one user, we have seldom done an implementation. Typically, you would have 2 or 3 technicians in-house that actually something like this makes sense. And how quickly we could actually implement or start as well. So typically, we would have a quick session about your requirements, and then within a week, normally we can as well kickstart a project if your timeline allows that. And typically, we allow anywhere in between, let's say, 6 weeks to 3 to 4 months projects, depending on complexity, in order to get up and running. As well as we have proof of concepts. So if you want to test it out first, things like that, we could as well even have something similar to that.
Sure, thank you, Matthias. It's good to know that the solution is very scalable, so it will fit actually businesses and enterprises of all sizes. Okay, so I saw some of the earlier questions as well. So I saw one question for Staple. Does Staple's extraction work on messy, non-standard invoices, for example, handwritten notes or scans of poorer quality, or multi-page statements? And how is the accuracy, and does it improve over time?
Great questions. So we read handwritten. We read independently of language and file type. So it can be a photo of a handwritten document in Thai. We can read it so long as the quality is good enough for a speaker of that language to also read. That is the caveat. You know, if you speak English and you can't read it, you know, we can't read it. If you speak Thai and you can't read the handwriting, we can't read the handwriting. But if you can, we can as well. It is that accurate. So very, very high accuracy. On terms of system improvements over time, yes. If you use the user interface and you make a change, for example, you know, we get purchase order PO 123, and you say, no, I just wanted to say 123. Staple learns that behavior. So following documents, we can change how we're reading it, subject to those requirements, or and beyond that example as well. So there's a lot of feedback and very high accuracy. We love it when people give us the really difficult ones. So if you want to see an example with really hard data and you want to see some examples, be happy to show you. Some of our clients, we do all of their APAC and Europe processing. So we work with quick commerce companies. You've probably got the apps on your phone. They've got outlets across Asia, and we support all of their syncing to their SAP system. So yeah, very flexible and accurate.
Sounds great. Thank you, Josh. Okay, so there is another question. How does the data in Fento FSM sync up between mobile devices and the desktop client? So in case some customer sites do not have stable internet access.
Yeah. So in general, the data, as you have seen just now, when I completed directly on the tablet, all the data was automatically in the Office version, as well as we do have an offline capability. So in Singapore, not that much needed. If you're working somewhere in Malaysia and you might be more remote. From personal experience as well, the internet is quite good, but or anywhere else. So let's say you're working underground or on a construction site, manufacturing hall, and the internet is not good. We have actually offline functionality, so you can go completely offline, finish it, and once you actually go back online, that would mean you can actually sync the data automatically.
Thank you, Matthias. Okay, next we have one question for Jamie about SAP Business One. Okay, so this question is, what's the difference of SAP Business One web client versus the desktop version? So I saw that Alfie has given a quick answer as well underneath, that B1 web client and desktop versions are just different options, so different alternatives for you to access B1. So B1 is installed in your laptop or your unit for the desktop version, while web client is a web access similar to a website version. So maybe does Jamie have anything else to add on for this as well?
Oh, yes, definitely. So, web client, right, is, I would say, another access method. So you do not have to have any SAP Business One installed on your laptop. You could just power up your browser and launch SAP Business One. So the other aspect is the web client provides a lot more analytics functions compared to the fat client or the desktop version. So this is something that you'll probably be interested to look forward, okay? And especially SAP is looking into moving to web client fully in the next version, which is the version 11 to be released in 2027, like what mentioned by Alfie. So we have a lot more other functions on the web client, but in short, both systems works, okay, but the access method is different. And also, if you are looking other than the functionality and the transactional features, right, like for example analysis, web client is a good options for you to move forward to.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, I saw a question about configuring custom business rules in Staple as well. And I saw that Josh has also answered this. So maybe is there anything else that Josh would like to highlight to the rest of the audience as well?
Sure. So the question was, can you configure custom business rules in Staple? Yes. So much yes. So that is not only the data you need to extract from different documents, how to categorize them as customizable, how to compare against other data you may have, the MDSKU. If you want to find duplicates in very difficult ways, same items from the same vendor, but different invoice numbers, different documents, find all that. High levels of customizability subject to your rules, and it's super easy to put in a platform. So you can easily explain why Staple's picking out those things, and that easily put those rules in. So yeah, again, love to show demos on this if people want to see, but there's a lot of customizability because we know that every business does things differently, and that's how it should be. It's what makes you unique.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, so next question. I saw Jamie has also given a response to this, but I'll share just the question in case there's anything else to highlight as well. Does SAP Business One have any plans on collaborating with generative AI platforms or to create their own version of something like ChatGPT to be accessible inside the app or SAP Business One web client?
Yes, this is the most commonly asked questions nowadays. Everybody is asking me, hey, when or whether SAP Business One supports AI. And so we do offer the add-ons, okay, so that we work with the AI agents to integrate with AI platform, like for example, ChatGPT, Copilot, or Claude, to offer the AI functionality within SAP Business One. So this is something exciting, and we will be demonstrating these functions right very soon in our next few webinars. So stay tuned.
Great, thanks, Jamie. Okay, next question is for Fan2. Okay, so this question says, for Fan2, do you already have customers in Southeast Asia? And maybe for Matthias, perhaps you can also share about industries covered also.
Yeah, certainly. So we started off in South Asia. We are a Singapore headquarter company. So yes, we do have customers in South Asia. We have customers in Singapore, Malaysia, and in Thailand. So we cover a good portion of it. From industry covered, we have manufacturing, we have oil and gas, we have medical devices, we have heavy machinery, and construction, of course. So that's where we started, construction. So we do have a good coverage, and in general, our solution can be used wherever there are needs in equipment, a service need to be performed, and you have technicians out in the field.
Thank you, Matthias. Okay, so I think we have covered most of the questions, but maybe let's just wait a couple more seconds just in case anyone else is also finishing up their questions. Okay, so I think that's probably all of the questions that we have for today. Okay, thank you very much to all our participants as well as all of our speakers for today. Very happy to be able to collaborate together and to give a webinar to our existing customers as well as our leads and prospects also. So we would be holding some further webinars as well as physical events as well. So please do stay tuned. Yep. Okay, thank you very much and hope to see you at our upcoming events. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody, have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.